In 2012, something extraordinary was discovered beneath this unassuming field. Laying perfectly preserved in the peat at 4 feet below sea level was a gigantic black oak. At over 13 metres long and over 4,800 years old, it had to be saved.
And when I saw this tree, it absolutely took my breath away. There's no pockets of rot. There's no sign of any insect infestation. This is absolutely perfect. I've always wanted to retain the integrity of one of these trees, to try and give an insight into the majesty and grandeur of these ancient high forests. And this was the one. And I stood there and I said, Bob, I honestly don't think we can cut this.
And that key decision not to cut the tree defines this remarkable project and presents Hamish with endless challenges.
How are you going to lift it? How are you going to plank it? How are you going to dry it? How are you going to plane it after you've planked it? Where's it going to go? Of course it's difficult. Everything about it is difficult, but it doesn't mean that it's not worth doing.
Even if a large enough static sawmill could be found, attempting to move such a vast and fragile tree was not an option. A sawmill capable of converting a tree of this length was flown over from Canada, and the longest sawmill in the country was assembled in the field and precisely levelled as close as possible to the tree. With the saw bench complete, the task of lifting the tree gets underway. Working in perfect tandem, 2 highly skilled telehandler drivers gently lowered the 6-ton tree with absolute precision onto the sawmill to be converted into planks. And with each plank weighing half a ton, a team of 20 students and staff from the fine woodworking department of the Building Crafts College carefully lift the saturated sawn planks off the saw bench. This tree had hinted at what it might yield, but nothing could have prepared them, however, for what was actually revealed. 10 magnificent consecutive planks, quite unlike anything seen before. Now the real challenge began, to dry them.
And of course there are no kilns 44 foot long, so we had to build one.
And then came the challenge of moving the planks through narrow entrances to get them to the kiln for stacking.
Actually physically stacking this kiln was surprisingly difficult because the planks were so large. There were 17 of us. There was quite a lot of shouting, a lot of 1, 2, 3, lift. And actually that was important because if you didn't, then part of the board would come up quicker than the other. And as I say, they are quite fragile and it would be quite easy to actually snap them.
With all 10 planks stacked, it was time to shut up the kiln and focus on the biggest challenge, drying the boards well enough to retain them full length. After 9 months of relentless monitoring and many adjustments and alterations to the drying equipment, the dehumidifiers were switched off and the kiln was opened up. It took 18 people to lift each plank into the kiln, but just 7 to remove them. Staggeringly, 400 gallons of water was removed from these planks. This equates to 4 gallons of water per cubic foot, which is over 2/3 of the tree's original volume. The boards have shrunk by 1/3 of their width, almost half of their sawn thickness, and reduced their combined weight by 1.6 tons. The challenge when attempting to dry black oak is to remove these huge volumes of water and incur such an extreme degree of shrinkage while maintaining a straight and flat plank. It's difficult to achieve this for a 1 metre length board, but this was attempting to do it with boards well over 13 metres long. Drying has been remarkably successful. All of the planks are flat enough to be retained full length. They're now stable. This extraordinary tree has been saved.
Black oak is the nation's rarest native hardwood. Clearly, there's a finite supply buried beneath the peat. It's important that we try and save as much as we can while we can. And hopefully we can use this example to try and raise awareness amongst Fenland landowners of the need to try and preserve and save this material when it becomes available. They are the rarest, the most valuable 10 consecutive boards in the world. There is nothing like them. They are a national treasure. And I think these boards now represent an opportunity, an astonishing creative opportunity to evoke a sense of wonder. It has been saved. That's the most important thing.